Greetings, friends, and welcome to Beast Foundry. My name is Christian, and as usual, I will be your guide today. Now, for today's video, I want to talk to you about something I do come across occasionally, and that is people asking, I only have 2 players right now, and it can be challenging to run the game in an effective manner in the sense the way encounters are built. If you're doing just role-playing, it doesn't matter. You can have as few or as many people as you want. Everyone who's engaged, they're going to have a fun time. But when you get to encounters, the way the rules work is you can only have a couple of enemies if you only have 2 players. So what I want to do is give you some ideas on things you can do if you do have a very small group that will make it feel fun, and as the DM, you don't have to change a lot, because that honestly is the largest crux of the issue. Is you now have to make every encounter, you have to go over it with a fine-tooth comb, because one bad die roll, if it takes out 1 player, it's a huge problem. So having 4 players is a really good safeguard that allows people to not worry about that 1 or even 2 bad dice rolls that might shape the course of the encounter. And I have found the best way for me to do this is to give the characters basically a monster out of the bestiary, because whatever their challenge rating is, if it is equal to the players, it is the equivalent of a player of that level. However, I do this typically by giving them maybe an animal or a construct or something that will help blend in if they go into a city that's not going to cause a large commotion. But also I'm looking for something that doesn't have a personality per se, that, as a GM, you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're going places and talking to yourself. The NPCs are talking to the other NPC in the group, and you're having this whole conversation with yourself, and you look over to a player and see that they're on their phone doing something. I've had that happen. It's like, I'm literally sitting here talking to myself. So in order to help avoid those types of situations, it's really easy to give your players this creature, give it the stats and everything, and say, this is yours. It has 3 actions. It can roll its own initiative. You control it. It's basically a second character for them, but it's very basic, so they don't have to worry about the role playing or even, it went up a level. You can easily, if you have the GM's guide, you can, or even look it up on Archives of Nethys, you can look at the advancement and then decide, okay, this is where it's at. Find out where it is on the advancement table. As soon as you up a level, just go straight down to the next column and add one of those. So you want to keep it on par or introduce something new. That thing goes away, got killed, whatever. There's a ton of ways to do this that are outside the box. Now, a lot of people, you could go with the dual classing. I know some people don't like that. It's an okay system. I personally am not the biggest fan of it. I just feel it adds a lot more complexity onto the character that ends up creating more of a bottleneck for the player themselves, because they just don't know what to do. There is so much there. Your veteran players, they're probably going to love it and not have an issue with it. But if you are playing with people that are not crazy familiar with the system, that's going to be very daunting. The free archetype system doesn't really increase the power of the character at all. People say, oh, you could give them a beast companion. The beast companion, it doesn't increase the power of the character. They're very well balanced. They are a tool for the character, but there's a reason there's an archetype class for the Beastmaster that literally anyone can get a animal companion. It's because at the end of the day, your animal companion isn't a game changer. It doesn't make it so that you easily just breeze through these encounters. I will say, if you go this route, healing is something you'll want to pay very close attention to, because if neither of the characters were geared towards healing, you may want to either give them a few extra items that help for this, or one of these things that you give them, maybe it has the ability to heal. It doesn't have to be a monster that is like a wolf or a bear. You could do things that Pixie, that maybe does have the power to heal, that turns invisible and doesn't like going into cities. It's like, I'm going to wait for you out here. Or it goes along and is there, but basically takes a major back seat when you get into these role-playing things. And you just want to think about those things so that you can set that up. So again, so you're not put in a position where you're talking to yourself. Now, maybe you enjoy that and it's not an issue for you, then by all means, go ham. Do whatever you want with that. Have fun. I'm just trying to help give you some tools to what to do if you have players that don't show up so that you don't necessarily have to cancel. Or if you're trying to start a game and I only have 2 people that want to play, I guess I can't do it because 2 people isn't enough. There is a lot of creativity and things that are available to you to accomplish these things. So I would say do not feel discouraged. It's not overwhelming. There's a lot of variable rules, or as I said, just doing this, you don't need any variable rules. You're just, here you go. Here is an extra character that has comparable hit points, comparable stats, deals comparable damage to a character of that level, but is also at the end of the day pretty basic. You're just going to move and attack. Or maybe if it has a fun special ability, you can do that too. But overall, it's a very simplistic thing, but they have their own character to worry about. They don't need 2 complicated things. 1 is plenty. So another thing you can do is hand out extra gold. That way, keep that gold on par for a 4-person party, but spread between 2 people. That's really going to help them get equipment earlier, which they will need that extra protection if you are doing these encounters that are still based on their level. As I said, the trickiest thing is the dice. If you as the DM, you get 2 20s in a row on them that deal some significant damage or take someone down or take both of them down, that's a really big problem. And it's easier for that stuff to happen when there is only 2 players. Just be careful with it and make sure you are aware of that situation. Even if you have just 1 player, it's still possible that you can be like, here, I was one player, I'm going to give you 2 animals that are challenge rating 1. You've a pair of wolves, or maybe one that's even challenge rating 2 to help you out. Or here's a magical suit of armor that's just an animated construct that's following them around. Or maybe there is a celestial creature that somehow got bound to them, or a demon or a devil. There's a lot of things you can do that will make it fun. So I don't want you to be discouraged, and I don't want you to think you can't do it, because I have done it many times. And honestly, some of my most memorable games have been one-on-one. I will actually say a one-on-one game ends up devolving into so much role play that you find that the character hardly ever levels up, because you're having so much fun doing these types of social encounters, and it's just a different dynamic of a game. Not to say you can't do the fighting that, it's just, it's its own beast. You really do have to practice at doing a one-on-one game, or even a one-on-two game. But that's not to say don't do it. You just have to practice and accept the fact that at the start of it, say, this is new I'm not used to this, or let them know that, there's a chance something here could go really wrong. So, you know what? We're going to set up the Dark Souls, we're going to set up the campfire, meaning I will let you guys know that, this is a campfire moment. If things go off the rails and this turns out badly, we're going to reset to this point. And the reason I say that is because you don't want your players also to just feel so hampered by the fact that if one little thing goes wrong, maybe they're both going to die, or the one player is going to die. Removing that stress will allow them to have a little more fun and make it feel, I don't think they're going to have an issue with it. I've done it before and everyone's been perfectly fine. And I have used it where like, oh, wow, this isn't going well. And not everyone even died, but it was like, holy smokes, this is terrible. Like, you guys wanted to go back to the campfire? Yeah, I think we do. And that's what we do. And everyone enjoys it and has fun. It is a game, and that is the point of a game, for everyone to enjoy themselves and have a good time. And if everyone's in agreement, then there shouldn't be a problem with it. So I hope you have found this helpful, this little segment just on what to do if you are missing some players. Go out there have fun, roll dice. Before I go, if you like this, if you have any additional ideas or things that you have done to help with having only 1 or 2 players, please leave a comment below and let's see what wonderful ideas that you have come up with. And as always, game well, my friends.